Hey, listen, before I ask my question, I want to thank you so much. The silent prayer, you know, I'm 50 years old. At home, we have a 16-year-old, 14-year-old, and a 10-year-old. And I got to tell you, introducing the silent prayer to my family, instead of just sitting down and saying the same old prayer over and over again before we eat our meal, to just be silent, bringing all thoughts into captivity. Brother, that has been such a huge, huge blessing in our lives. I just want to encourage anyone to try that out. It's amazing to look around after we've done our silent prayer before we eat, to see the excitement in my kids' faces, like, oh yeah, Dad, I had a bunch today. Or the other one will be like, yeah, you know, I had a couple things that I've been thinking about. It really takes root, Jesse, and so I want to thank you so much, and ever since then, it's been absolutely amazing. So thank you so much.
You're welcome, Tony. Stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. You're going to know God and his love. It's going to be amazing, man. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home. That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in. Coming at you here on this fine Wednesday. Great shows on the network. Got the juices flowing, got people thinking, pondering, reflecting, talking, fighting, many things. But at least you're having fun. You're having fun, you're listening, you're getting thrills, even if you're just getting mad. But you can't stop listening to the Bond Network. Thank you. Appreciate you tuning in. You know, we're about to get going here. I got the Zelensky on, so you know I got money on the mind. And we're going to continue a little bit here on this finance series in a moment here. We'll take a little bit of time to do that, and then we'll get into nothing. Then we'll leave the rambling about nothing till later. But if you want to ramble with the American Anchor Baby, you could call 888-775-3773 if you want to jump in. I see someone holding on. Appreciate it. No problem, Rob. Yeah, you can hold. We'll get to you. Just a little patience. The Anchor Baby's got maybe even an actual show. So, what's up, dlive.tv/Gorgonzola? What's up, rumble.com/American Anchor Baby? You love it. So, I got the Zelensky on, and I got money on the mind. Financial markets, global, international markets. What are we going to do? And we're going to get into it. But Lin Yan Chin kicking it off with a super chat. I got to start it off with this. Don Day, funny Funny spelling, Lin Yan Chin. We're going to do this slowly. Dun de esta. Doko dalla blaus dulus sparle. He raptured by God through Hake's good hair, or did he prance a wailing with the Prince of Prince? That must have been a super chat before I went live. He's wondering, where is the anchor baby? But I am here. Don de esta. A little Japanese too. A little Japanese. Japanese-esque language in the super chat. Really perfect for this segue into the Japanese yen, like I was talking about yesterday. But before we get to all that, look, maybe you weren't tuned in. You want to be following my Substack. That's AmericanAnchorBaby.substack.com. If you want to be podcasting my show, if you've missed an episode and all that, and particularly yesterday's, which was the first in this, yes, I'm calling it a series to make it sound all fancy, but it's just interesting things that we're talking about, namely here, global finance. And yesterday I started off with a little bit of history behind one man that you may know, a name, George Soros, a man whom many ascribe an ultimate power to. Well, not everyone, okay? Some are pretty reasonable, okay? Some are pretty reasonable. They ascribe to him the proper things that are ascribed to him. He's using his money for the society, his Open Society Foundation, supporting BLM and all that. That's not a mystery. But yes, many say he has the power to bring down nations. In fact, he's had this nickname for a while. They called him the man who broke the Bank of England. I wouldn't say it was all Soros. I really wouldn't. But we'll get to that. But they call him the man who broke the Bank of England for essentially catching England with its pants down and profiting. They were attempting to do grand things in the world by enacting the euro. But in the interim, there were funny money actions taken for the greater good. But some saw the writing on the wall and decided to profit. Some ascribe evil intentions to someone who would do such a thing. That man in question says, hey, I'm an investor. You take that however you will. I would never peddle in such anti-Semitic conspiracies. If you don't know, that's from the ADL, if you remember. The anti-Semitism lurking behind George Soros' conspiracy theories. Oh, hey, Lil Nick. And they put him with the octopus. So the octopus thing is anti-Semitic? You know, I mean, I just was never aware of it until the Greta crap. And now apparently octopuses, you can't have an octopus. I don't know. I watched the Hake Report, and that man, if he has love, right, as he says, I don't think he'd be running around with an octopus to do, dog whistle evil things. It's funny. I'm still unsure what some people were thinking. Maybe they thought I was dog whistling anti-Semitic canards. I didn't know ducks were anti-Semitic, but I think you're thinking about things a little shallow, and you weren't listening. So a little review is in session. Class was in session yesterday. I had some diagrams explaining the role and the central banks play in the economy. Keeping it simple, main ways, interest rate adjustments. Okay, you can mess around with the interest rate. You can mess around with the money supply, how much money is in circulation, and currency intervention when you really got to get in there. So essentially either buying or selling large amounts of one currency to help another. So let's say I'm the American central bank and we got a whole bunch of foreign currency and our dollar's going down. We'll sell all that currency and buy our own dollar. Time to make it happen. So you get it. We got into some current news about the troubling signs of the plummeting Japanese yen, which is one of the world's reserve currencies, and explain to you the relationship between the American Federal Reserve and the tough position Japan is in right now. Should they intervene and save their currency, save Japan, be nationalists, or sacrifice and save the global financial system? So yeah, we did a little bit of review. We did a little bit of diagram review. Class was in session and all that. And if you don't remember, maybe you need a little bit of a just a quick diagram here, just really, really quick. Grab a little gray here. So you see this is a plane. You have your little plane. Oh, maybe I should have started with the wing first, because now the body is going to... See, an artist would have started with the wing first, but we're going to go like this. And that's a little plane. Bing. And the plane is flying. And inside the plane, you have your throttles controls, right? You have your throttles for engine 1, engine 2, whatever, right? And the hold on, let me pull up something. I'm limited with the amount of things I could do. Okay. So this rate, now we're back. Sorry, apologies, just pulling up everything for myself here. The rate is like the throttle on the airplane, okay? The pilot, or the Fed in this case, can push the throttle forward, speeding it up, speeding up the plane, speeding up the economy, okay? Or he could pull it back to slow down the plane, slow down the economy, right? So this is your interest rates, the throttle. And this right here, the plane, is the economy. Okay. I'm having too much fun with this. And you, as a pilot, you're going to adjust your speed to maintain an optimal speed and optimal inflation rate for different phases of the flight. Okay? That's how you're doing it. That's why hawkish means being vigilant about controlling the inflation, favoring higher interest rates, meaning slowing down economic growth, or being dovish. So I guess we got to draw the hawk. Okay, let's get the bee. Right? Hawk-ish. And then dovish. Policy stance means being more accommodative, meaning you're going to lower the interest rates to encourage employment and growth, even if it means a little bit more inflation. So we're understanding simple things here, okay? There's your little dove. Okay, we're going fast. We're moving on from this. That's diagram 1, okay? And I explained to you the foreign relationship between the foreign relationship of strong dollars. A strong dollar makes imports cheaper and attracts foreign investment. Conversely, it can make exports more expensive. So you see, we kind of depend on each other here in the world, for better or for worse. And here's why it's important. Sort of. I just want to be thinking about things in a clearer way. If you watch my show, I talk about myself and all that. But I want to use this time I have with you a little more efficiently, a little better with you. You have me 2 hours almost every day. And I noticed that we have to be a little deeper than just titles and feelings in all things, right? I want conservatives to really think things through, because I realize it's painful to do that. To do we want to talk about certain things and understand them, but actually understanding them takes a little work. It's a little painful. So we got to be a little deeper than central banks, Soros, and I think the first step is discovery. First, you got to see, okay? First, you got to see, and then you can see what the next step is. With this finance thing, it's like an intro into some of these concepts in the hope someone will find it useful. I use my time better with you, with my show here, because I can be a little shallow with some topics. So yeah, first step to discover, with a clear mind, so you can see what's next. I just find this interesting as well. So, Nippon, that's the name of Japan. Japan is an exonym, a name we call that country, but they call it Nippon. And are they committing seppuku? You know that like samurai suicide that you take a sword and go, disemboweling. I'm sorry, the sun is up, but your intestines are out. It's a suicide, but you're doing it. It's like a noble thing. It's a noble suicide, a warrior suicide. of a warrior race. Is this Japanese seppuku? We're talking about the Japanese yen. It's plunged, and I see calls. Appreciate the patience. I will get to you here in a moment. The Japanese yen continues to plunge, and many in the financial world are saying it's begun. Signs of the global financial system showing tears, and leaving the opening for replacements. They've thought of them already. They're calling them cryptocurrency. They're calling them different things. You got even other nations coming together, forming their own blocks. BRICS, you've heard of them. They're now talking about having their own currency. What should they call it? The brick? That'd be kind of sick. Yeah, I got bricks. I got hella bricks. I'm stacked up in bricks. I'm invested in bricks. I'm long on bricks. Kind of a sick name for a currency. But that's their dream. They got a big old dream, BRICS. We're going to make our own global financial system. They want to move away from the U.S. dollar. Okay, but what is everyone so worried about? What's everyone so worried about, and will the sacrifice be enough? How did Japan get here? For that, we must understand something here. We're going to zero in on the yen carry trade, an important little financial tool that is propping up the Western financial system, okay? So carry trade. I'm going to pull this up here. Essentially, a strategy involving borrowing money in a currency with a low interest rate and then investing it in another currency with a higher interest rate. Sounds like a perfect plan, right? So in the foreign exchange kind of over-the-counter market, there's kind of two kinds of trades. Spot trades, you have the money and you exchange the money. The currencies are delivered, and I think it's like within a 2-day window. And forwards, which are claims on funds over time. You might be familiar with shorting, borrowing. It's not too dissimilar from that, but just to help you think about it better. It's a claim on fund over time. So you're saying, let's say you borrow a certain amount of money, you're promising to pay it back in a certain amount of time. And these forward exchanges are in increments of a week, a month, 6 months. So let's say I'm a Japanese fund manager. I have a whole bunch of yen, a whole bunch of extra yen, and I can sell it and buy US dollars. Or more accurately, a more accurate scenario is, let's say there are investors and speculators around the world who have access to the foreign market. They're able to buy and sell foreign assets around the world. And they see that Japan has negative interest rates. They're now zero, but for a long time they were negative. Meaning, what does that mean? Meaning if you were to borrow money, borrow yen, you would get paid for borrowing. Usually when you borrow money, you pay it back. You pay a little bit more, and that person who lent you the money makes some money. But in this case, when you want to attract people to borrow your currency, you put a negative interest rate. It's like, hey, I'll give you money for you to take this money. You get it. So, say you're a speculator, foreign speculator, you see Japanese interest rates, you're like, I know what to do. You'll first borrow their yen. So now you owe them yen. Now you owe Japan yen, but now you're holding their yen, and you even got a little bonus. Well, not anymore because now they're at zero. But let's say you got a little bonus. You got some yen. You owe Japan their yen. You're going to use your yen to buy U.S. dollars, which you pay back, which you then sell back in 6 months. You make your profit because the interest rates are high on the U.S. money. You pay back the Japanese government, and you make your money back. And that's how you make your money. It's a perfect plan, right? Is it diagram time? Is it diagram? You remember GameStop and shorting and all that mess? And it's like they're talking about the speculators. You can invest. You can make all sorts of money even if you have nothing. You can make money out of nothing, they said. So let's say you have a bicycle. Let's say your friend has a bicycle. Let's say your friend, he's got a little bicycle. He's got a little bicycle. Okay, there's the frame, the spokes. Okay, we got spokes going everywhere. Okay, those are spokes. You got your handlebars. You got like I guess the seat, whatever. And your friend has a bike, and you got a big old idea. You got a big old idea. You ask your friend, hey, can I borrow your bike? So he lends you the bike. You promise to give it back. He lends you the bike, and you have a big old idea. You know that the new bike, the new model of the bike is coming out. The new snazzy bike. I think we got to make it gold. The new snazzy gold bike is coming out. So what do? You have a big old plan. You borrow the bike. You now owe the bike. You wait for the new bike to come out, depreciating the value of the old model. You buy back the old model at a lower price. You give back the bike to your friend. A new bike that you purchased. But he won't know. He won't know. It is a cheaper bike in this case. And then you pocket the money. That's shorting. That's essentially shorting. Not exactly what's going on here, but you get it. Sounds like an amazing deal, right? Sounds like a perfect deal. Everyone's happy. Everyone makes money. The problem with shorting the yen to invest in dollars is that the yen could appreciate in the meantime. So the cost of the yen loan goes up. You get it? So in the meantime, while you are waiting for the new bike to come out, you were wrong. And the price of the new bike goes up. You get it? So, and that can happen for many reasons. So for this to work, for this yen carry trade, as it's called, for this to work, the yen needs to stay weak. And as you know, Japan's rates were negative. Now they're at zero. And what is Japan doing now? Keeping interest rates low. Like I was telling you yesterday, promising to intervene as the yen plummets, but looks like maybe Janet Yellen got to them. I don't know. Maybe Biden got to them. Don't you dare sell the assets. Don't you dare. And why? The Bank of Japan, their central bank, could have a political problems on their hand. The problem here is in this artificial keeping of the yen low. It hurts their own people, and it's a matter of time kind of thing. What will break first? So, in a way, the yen is leading the way for fiat currencies to loosen up. But the point here is it's that relationship with the United States and this yen carry trade, which is propping up the Western market. That is at stake here. You understand? So we appreciate the Japanese sacrifice. Thank you so much. That way we can still have our relatively cheap. McDonald's has gone up quite a bit. It's like McDoubles could not. They used to be one of the crowning achievements of America. And not even the plummeting yen is allowing us to keep the McDouble at the low prices that it used to be in America's heyday. But so we appreciate the Japanese. Man, this is some serious graphics. I'm just looking at chat now. Those carry trades are making some Japanese people millionaires. I wonder what the public thinks. Hey, I don't know. Hey, Japanese people, call me in. Call into the show, maybe. But this is interesting stuff, I think. What do you think? What are y'all saying? I'm still scrolling up the chat here, catching up a bit. I'll get back to this. We'll finish up, get to calls. Not financial advice, by the way. Nick has a $61 billion Zelensky shirt on. That's funny. So I'm seeing even some. I'm even seeing some of that thinking I was talking about earlier. It's central banks. It's the bankers' wars. It's shady people, people like Soros with all this power. But I don't think that's a good explanation. Here's how I put. Here's what I'm getting at. I'm seeing people in the chat say all Wars are bankers' wars. And I know what they're alluding to, that there's this that it's really the might of the American military that is that's what's behind, for example, movements in currency, the yen, the Japanese government sacrificing, if that's how you want to see it. But I don't know. I think it's a little simpler. Here's what I got to say. Not simpler as in like, here I am talking like I understand finance in that way. What I mean is I'm bringing it to human nature. And this is what I mean. Lofty ideals, no consequences, no thought of the incoming consequences, short-sightedness, fantastical ambitions, you understand, is what's kind of behind so many things here. In my opinion, what is the global financial system? What the heck is it? Hopefully we can get into it tomorrow, continuing this little series. We're going to get into it. What we're talking about all these things, but what the heck are we even talking about? What is the global financial system? And I hear like people are saying that it's these governments. These governments have control over the money. Central banks they have their place. They have their thing. They have their role to play. And central banks need to be put in their place. But like Jeff Snyder over at Eurodollar University says, the Eurodollar is our money. And he uses this image of a black hole. Let me show you. He uses this image of a black hole to represent this Eurodollar. Okay? Boom. And like a black hole, it affects many things around it without us knowing what's inside of the black hole. It's misunderstood. Okay? Largely misunderstood, this monetary system, which I've been alluding to a little bit. For a number of reasons. You know, it's hidden from the public. It's not in any public ledgers like Forex exchange and all that. It's not in any... It's largely hidden from the public. And yet it's the major way wealth is transferred around the world. It's misunderstood because, for example, it's called Eurodollar. It has nothing to do with euros. It is not a euro. It has nothing to do with it. And where the heck did it even come from? Where the heck did the Eurodollar even come from? There was a pretty famous financier or whatever back in the day, Paul Einzig. He says the Eurodollar, this is one of the earliest kind of mentions of a Eurodollar, so to speak. The Eurodollar market was for years hidden from economists and other readers of the financial press by a remarkable conspiracy of silence. I stumbled on its existence by sheer accident in October 1959, and when I embarked on an inquiry about it in London banking circles, several bankers emphatically asked me not to write about the new practice. So it was really hush-hush, and it's not like a secret or anything. It's you can Google this stuff. It's Milton Friedman. I'm not talking about conspiratorial things other than the word itself, meaning people keeping secrets. So we'll hopefully get into this moving forward on the Eurodollar and what the global finance system is. It's fugazi, lofty ambitions, fantasies a little bit, but we cannot discount it's given us the modern world. And so these are things I've been thinking about. Hope you find it interesting so far. We'll continue that tomorrow, I think. Like I said, yeah, we'll continue that tomorrow. And, you know, I don't know. I'm almost positive this caller was not saying this. So really, I'm not putting words in your mouth if you're hearing me. But no, they was talking about dog whistles and all that. And, you know, on the banking topic, people show shallow thinking, I've noticed, really quickly. And if you've been following at all, you should realize that we're going to start to uncover, at least moving forward, that it's not really just central banks. It's not just people like Soros. And it shows the shallow thinking of people. Look, it's like, let's say when we look at the yen carry trade today, it's not unlike what Soros did with the Bank of England and the ERM. and speculating and betting against certain things. Let's say someone were to do that today with the yen in the U.S. and hurt us. Well, there would be another Soros in a sense, but Soros may be evil. His motivations may have been to hurt England. I don't know. But why did we give the devil the fruit? You know, we're talking about finance and all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you find it interesting, but now you're thinking, what can I do? What do I do with my life? What do I do? How do we fix this? It always goes back to self. Always, always, always goes back to self. You know, we're talking about interest rates, variable interest rates with the Fed. When we talk about the individual, when it gets down, rubber meets the road, how does it affect you? Well, it affects, for example, variable mortgage rates. So really think about what you're getting into, what agreements you're getting into. Variable mortgage rate. That means it can change on you. Credit cards, your credit cards. Yeah, when the interest rates go up and all that, guess what? Your credit card bills go up. Unless you paid them in full. Unless you paid them in full and you didn't, and you were responsible. You feel me? You don't have to take the gift. Satan can't get you, and I'm using Satan here in the sense of like, I don't know, irresponsibility. But he can't get you with sort of, with like offering yourself up. How do I put this? It's a paradox. It's not that you willingly do it, but despite being like half asleep, you're still the one who's extending your arm. You know what I mean? It's still your hand that extends and relinquishes your freedom, your mind to Satan. You understanding me? So don't bite off more than you could chew. Your ego is the one that's got you thinking that you need all this stuff to take on all these things and all that in your personal life, debt and all that. And debt can be a positive thing. I mean, obviously there's people who use it correctly. So it's not the thing itself. What's wrong with you? So that's what's been on my mind. What else about this? I see calls, about to get to them big time. 888-775-3773. What are y'all saying? Nick, it's not people, it's not the bankers, it's the banking system. But you got to understand, Jabril. Okay, Nick, it's not the people, bankers, it's the banking system. Confusion comes when people decide to create fake money. If money had value of heart to obtain, wars would be too expensive. Labor would always. But can we, Jabril, have you contended with the fact that this money system that was largely ignored over decades, right? It's like, hey, it's working out. Look at Shanghai. Look at America. The whole world is growing at a rate that it's never seen before in human history, thanks to the easy conversion of currency using ledger money, aka ghost money, aka fake money. But can we still have to contend with that was the system that gave us so many things. We weren't complaining when it was working, right? But now there's some problems going on. And now maybe it's time to understand the black hole. But anyways, I'm just talking about concepts here that you might find interesting. I hope to have, there's two people I have in mind, and I'll talk about it when I have more information, but I hope to have them on to further explain this, as they are, shall we say, experts. We love experts. We love the experts, okay? Okay. I think that's it on that. Let me see if there's any super chats so we can get to calls here. Because you can buy me a coffee. buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. I know Kale Somogi hit me up with a super chat at the end of the show yesterday saying amazing show. So thank you for that. We got another one from Kale Somogi. That's a super chat. Donation here for the war effort, Mr. Zelensky. Well, thank you. Kale Somogi, your donation will not be misused. We'll make sure that it goes to arming Ukrainian men who don't even want to fight. Like something like 500,000 Ukrainian men have fled. And now apparently they might be, I heard, it could be fake news, but they're going to go find them, round them up, make them fight. You gotta defend Ukraine, right? But anyways, no, I'm not defending war. I'm just talking about, I'm not defending war. I just want to talk. We say, I hear these things, especially on the conservative side and stuff. Just things thrown out like central bank, bankers, wars, da-da-da. But it's not, if I'm not talking about you, then don't be offended, duh. But I find that some of these people have a shallow thinking and can't quite even explain what they're talking about. And so simple explanations like the Fed, which if you've been listening to me, I'm not saying that there's no problems with them. But, simple explanations feel good. Let's get to Robert. You've been waiting a while. Appreciate that. New Mexico, you're on the air.
Hey, how you doing?
All is well, Robert. Thank you for your call. First time calling.
Oh, yeah. I was going to actually respond about divorce and marriage, but since you brought up the banking system, just off the top of my head, I know a few things, and I started invested in gold and silver and property maybe 15, 20 years ago. And, in my mid-20s when I started having a family. And that's the reason is because, I was listening to facts about the Federal Reserve, and it's not federal and there is no reserve,
Yeah.
In 1913 on Jekyll Island, the bankers got together, the Rothschilds, the Morgans, all those people, and basically privatized our banking system. That's what you call central banking. Mm-hmm. And that was the end right there. And all that, I saw that, and, I'm 45, born in the 70s, and our dollar has just diminished, year after year. And I saw it coming, and I said, there's no point in just holding on to dollars and, just basically losing half your wealth in, a few decades. So that's when I started investing in that. And it just, we might think Joe Biden's the worst president, but in 1913, the president was Woodrow Wilson, and I consider him the worst, and Biden number 2, because he actually signed that into the law, making it the law. It's actually called the Federal Reserve Act. And that's the day that, we lost control of our own money.
So can you help me understand that part?
What's that?
No, I appreciate what you're talking about. Hey, Woodrow Wilson, interesting man.
Yeah, he's definitely the worst.
I believe it was Churchill. I could be wrong here. It was definitely Patrick Buchanan said that it was Woodrow Wilson when he told the world that all nations are, they have the right to self-determination, that was the end of the West. Because it would be a endless atomization. That's an unfeasible thing of all these people. But that's a besides the point. Let me ask you this, because you said something that I don't understand. Not saying that you're wrong, but you said that the creation of the Federal Reserve was the start of the end, and then you mentioned the dollar in your time growing up being so weak. But what was the end exactly? What was the end exactly? Like what was the end? What the Federal Reserve? Why did that end it? Why was that the start of the end?
That's when Americans lost control of their own currency. And, we haven't seen it that bad, even though we've lost at least 50% of our values since the late 70s when Nixon took us off the gold standard. That's another reason why, that's a day where America just sold out to corporations, and it's only gotten worse and worse. And now this whole crypto thing, in my belief, is going to enter us into that one world currency that it talks about in the end times.
But governments are pretty. I mean, you may have heard of like governments dabbling in the idea of their own national like cryptocurrency, but in general, from what I could tell, in my opinion, from the things I've seen, the governments of the world are they're threatened by the cryptocurrency thing. To varying degrees. Some don't see it as a big deal at all. But
look at El Salvador.
Say again?
Look at El Salvador. They are booming. They were bust until they invested in the crypto.
That's an outlier. That's because Bukele sees, he's betting against, in a sense, the financial system. Do you understand? But all I'm saying is that the cryptocurrency is a direct challenge to the stability of the world finance system, keeping it general, that the governments of the world enjoy today. So that's why there's a lot of what's it called? They don't like the crypto is what I'm trying to say. So this, I hear that, hey, they're going to make us adopt crypto. They're going to buy. I hear that a lot, that the crypto today is a government scheme, but I'm just saying, I don't think it is quite yet. Not yet.
Yeah, well, I would consider that reverse psychology. At one time, I thought like that as well, but I think they're just going to follow it as a way to get rich real quick. Because, you know, the one good thing politicians are good about is making money. And, you know, there was a senator, I forget from which state, I think it was a senator that just got bribed with a bunch of gold bricks.
Who was that guy?
From China. You know,
Bob Menendez.
What's that?
Bob Menendez.
Oh, was it? Well, what state was that?
You know, I don't know the details. I just remember seeing the headlines. Oh, New where?
Yeah.
Where'd you say?
Well, I was
Sean?
just saying,
New Jersey. I'm talking to the producer here in my ear. Apologies.
Yeah, I mean, that's just. I mean, I was lucky. I invested in gold when it was, 15 years ago. It was probably like 1,100. Now it's almost 2,400. It's actually booming, and that just follows inflation, with their dollar. And when the dollar is going down, gold goes up. It's simple, And also, property, true tangible assets where you can actually touch and feel. Like, I don't suggest buying paper gold or getting into crypto at all. You want stuff that you can actually touch. And gold has always been a form of currency since the biblical times, and it's never going to not be. But, also, if I'm saying, if we're talking about the end times, you want food as well. I live off the grid up on top of a mountain, and the last 15 years have been storing food and ammo and gold and all that crap. And my kid just thinks I'm crazy, but now he's almost 18, and he's like,
you believe the end times are here or something?
No, I believe that America is not even involved in the end times. So I'm just basically talking about as America eats itself,
you got to watch for yourself.
Out and dissolves, then I feel like we're Mystery Babylon in the Bible.
I understand. You got to watch for yourself. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, Robert. Things to think about. Hey, call me. Can you call me again on something else?
Yeah, I was actually talking about.
I actually, before you go, you said you wanted to talk about divorces real quick.
Yeah, the last guy, I actually didn't even know you guys had shows after Jesse. I just kept the TV on, and you guys showed up.
Oh, cool! So you caught the other network shows.
Yeah, it was actually really good. You guys are all a little bit different,
And that means the YouTube redirect is working. That's very cool.
Are you actually up on top of a mountain off the grid? I hear my cell phone. It works fine. But are you called the anchor baby because you're an immigrant, or your parents are immigrants?
I am an anchor baby, right? I was born. My mother was an illegal, straight up.
From where?
From Colombia.
Ooh.
Yep. Although I'm only half anchor baby by way of my mother. My father, from what I know, was an American citizen.
Well, then you're not.
I'm still an anchor baby. Say again.
You're more of what do they call that? A green card baby.
Something. I mean, we could mess around with the details here.
Yeah.
But it's just the truth. It's just a factual statement.
We hope you enjoy your stay.
Don't worry. I'm here on a crusade to retroactively remove the citizenships of the anchor baby. So we got you. I got you.
Yeah,
I'm messing around. Sorry, what were you going? Say again. You were just saying.
Oh yeah. Well, I was just going to ask how you got involved with Jesse.
Well, I've been listening for a number of years. Before 2019, like it must have been like really 2016. Like Trump came around. Trump hit the scene, and long story short, I found Jesse. I found God in the YouTube algorithm. Amazingly enough, in my little basement, room that I was renting in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.
Wow.
So I didn't go to church. I found Bond in the YouTube algorithm. Anyways, long story short, I'm also an American citizen. I was born in America, but moved to Canada, found my American passport, and I got excited. I'm like, let's go see America. Ended up in LA, met Jesse just because I knew he was there. I was just going to go. I just went to a men's forum is all I did. One thing led to another. I stayed in LA, and here I am. He called me one day.
How old were you when you...
I started 2019 with Jesse. Wow. Has it really been that long?
You were actually born...
Has it really been 5 years?
You said you were born in Ontario, right?
No, I was born in Miami, Florida. Well, sir,
okay,
I feel like I've spent a plenty amount of time with you, Robert. We'll have to get into divorces another day. Anything else you want to ask me about me, though?
No, I was just going to mention with the last guy, he was talking about the divorces, and I was just going to say once they considered no-fault divorces, when Reagan signed it in 1969, he said it was the biggest regret of his presidency.
Ooh.
And I think that's, the part of the destruction of the nuclear family.
Big time.
And that's another reason why you see the downfall of our society here in America.
If you hate the family, you hate society.
Canada's doing that too.
If you hate the family, you hate society, man. So many haters of life in the government. Hey, Robert, appreciate your call. Can you call me again?
All right, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure. Ooh. Sorry. I'm quick on the button. I've been trained almost, but I appreciate that. 888-775-3773. You want to jump on there? I see more calls. About to get to you. About to get to more calls here. But check this out really quick. Remember I showed you a video of this young man, he's working at a Papa John's getting major online crud over it. Remember? And I was like, look at this young guy just working. I appreciate it. That's all I did, right? I just played you the little clip where he's like showing major enthusiasm for working for Papa John's. And he was getting major crap for it. He was like, you're putting so much, you're giving so much for a corporation, this nasty, dirty corporation that doesn't care about you. It probably supports genocide. I'm adding to it. But you get these people all up in his comments saying, what a waste of talent, what a waste of time. You're giving them free advertising. Before you do that, you should maybe get money from them. And I was amazed I was amazed at the cynicism of the world, but I knew at the same time why. So why some things are happening. They complain about the yen. No, they don't. They haven't gone that far. They complain about many things. The economy, what you shoulda, coulda, woulda been, what you shoulda, coulda, woulda been doing, what you deserve to be doing, what job you should have. And yet at the same time, life is really difficult. But I see the comments of this young man's TikTok and YouTube, and I realize why. Because people are animals, degenerates. They entitled. They don't really care about what they say they care about. They say, I care about a good economy, and I want to be able to I want to be able to fend for myself and feed myself and work. But they don't really care about that because they'll complain about, wages are low, inflation, there are no jobs anywhere. It's hard to get a job. Okay, so you don't care. You don't want to. You used to be able to buy a home on one income. Okay, so you don't care. You don't really care about what you're saying. You say you care about making your life or whatever, but you don't really. Now, you might think, Nick, but that's true. That might be true. And I think that statement about homes being cheaper is true. I think that's just obvious. But if you're someone that won't live your life because of that, then you don't really care. Check this guy out. It's the same guy I want to show you real quick. No, not that. Boom. I'm going to show you a short where he's responding to some of these comments, in fact. And I believe he's continued here on social media. It's not like I've been following that deeply, but I found another video of his. And here he is kind of responding to some things. Let's see if we can play this. How do we do this? No. We don't need a short on Pizza Pockets. We need a short on this guy. Unmute it. We did it. We did it, folks. You can ignore this diagram. That was from earlier. Here's the Papa John's guy. And he's responding to a comment that says, stop wasting your talent working at a Papa John's for minimum wage, LMAO, with a laughing crying face emoji.
Working at Papa John's for minimum wage. I mean, honestly, I can understand where you're coming from. But what a lot of these comments don't realize is I've been working for Papa John's for 6 years now. I've been able to support myself through college, buy my first car. I've been able to do a lot of things thanks to this job. What you might say is a low skill or low paying job has actually taught me a lot. And I get it. Not everyone is gonna be excited to be a pizza maker. But what a wise man once told me, how you do anything is how you do everything. Shout out Doe Toley for this first cup of cheese and that second cup of cheese.
The energy.
You see, at the end of the day, it's the end of the day.
Yep.
And I'm thankful to be a pizza man. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's Italian sausage.
This guy can save America. This guy can save America. Young white man. I think we're done with the banking here. Hold on. Boom. This guy can save America. You know, I've had even callers asking me, what do I do, Nick? What do I do? I'm living at home, this and that. Go get a fast food job. There was someone who called Jesse. Who was it? Was it Jesse? Was it James? Somewhere on the network, I heard someone say something about working at a Wendy's or something like that and getting schooling and getting all sorts of stuff. It's like people don't really want to get better, and I think maybe it's a couple of things. It's obviously loving your hell. It's hard, it's difficult, it's painful. But if people only knew that it's possible, that you could just deal with life right in front of you, and that's all you got to do, that's amazing, and that's the pathway to everything. If people just knew that, maybe they would be more willing to kind of take it on. But anyways, the world says you need all these things. You can't be a pizza man. You got to have what are you? A loser? Anyways, thank you, Lin Yan Chin. Appreciate the super chat, sir. Let me see what you're saying here. With a back-to-back super chat says, promotion to the point of incompetence that has defined society ever since civilization lost the Second Great War. Interesting way of putting it. Yeah, no winners in that war. I am black and Chinese, but I know humanity lost that war in 1945. Well, it was a giant civil war. I never saw it like that growing up in school, but it was a brother war. It was a giant civil war of the West, and some say it's killing blow. But that's just like dramatic, maybe. Let's see here. What else is going on? Thank you, Old Saucy, Mildew Grew, Games for Wreck, Beta Legs. You guys rock. And I see no top contributors on D-Live, so there are 3 open spots in the Ballers Lounge this Friday. Very cool. All right, let's see what else we could do here. Wow, we got calls. Let's get to calls before we get into Man versus Bear. We'll see what we could do here, but we got Jeff out of Louisiana. Thank you, sir, for calling. How you been?
Pretty good, Nick. How are you, man?
All is well. Go ahead.
I just want to ask you, have you seen anything in news or anything about, I'm from Louisiana, about Baton Rouge, Louisiana, East St. George?
Nice. Shout out Louisiana.
Have you seen anything about it?
Yes, big time. The big news is this, I've been wanting to cover it, and I know that I heard it on the Hake Report, I think. Wealthy white Louisiana residents win right to reform their own city? Please, speak on it.
Yeah, they what it is about 10 years ago, they wanted to form their own school district because the schools are so bad. And they wouldn't let them do that.
They wanted their own school district.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
because they're spending all tax money and their kids are going to school on school.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So about 5 years ago, they started for, the democratic process, and they went through the whole process of where they had a vote and they got the city approved. So they're splitting off from East Baton Rouge.
To split off from what?
East Baton Rouge Parish.
East Baton Rouge. Okay.
And now you got the NAACP, whatever it is, a white organization,
Mm-hmm.
feeling a fit about it, saying we're going to lose our tax dollars. Well, they're splitting off.
Say what you said about tax dollars again. I missed that. I missed that sentence.
They're saying they're going to lose $43 million in tax dollars to East Baton Rouge.
Oh, gotcha.
So the white people are paying all the taxes and going to failing schools.
Going to failing schools, correct?
Yeah, they're supporting
Understood.
all the failing schools for the tax dollars, so that they're trying to form their own city so they can redistrict and get redistrict school zones, which hasn't been done yet. They got bills in Louisiana House to do that,
Mm-hmm.
but they're trying to redistrict to get their own school zones, so all their money won't go to failing schools and East Baton Rouge.
Gotcha.
But it's funny how, every time they want to do something with the black community, it's not racist. But when we try to fix our own community, it's racist because we don't want to support the black community. That's failed.
Fascinating, man. Yeah, and the Baton Rouge mayor is like a black woman. The NAACP and this black woman mayor, they're against it. They're saying they are bringing up the white thing. They claim it will hurt the city's black schools when wealthy whites leave. You're absolutely correct here. I'm getting this from Yahoo News, and apparently the city will be called St. George. The city of St. George will be in the southern tip of East Baton Rouge. Say again?
Yeah, but I see it's the city of St. George. That's the thing
is that it?
Just,
so the racist city, they're going to call the racist city the racist name they used for George Floyd, St. George Floyd? That is crazy, man.
But the thing is,
I'm joking. I'm joking.
I know you're joking. What I'm saying, what kills me is, all we hear about is how we're going through processes, legal laws and all that stuff. When we go to the legal laws, we get thrown the racist word.
Right.
They're looking after our people, If you're paying the majority of the taxes, don't you want to see your tax dollars at work? Don't you want kids to go somewhere where they can not going to fail in schools?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just. I was going to tell you about a story. I don't know if y'all heard about it, but that's just one community is doing something right.
Interesting, man. Go on.
And there's the actual racial breakdown. I have the exact numbers, but I think it's like 66% white, and I think it's 16% black, and some are Hispanic and other nationalities in that St. George town. So it's not just white people.
Fascinating, man. I'm looking at the headlines too, and it's like a little, they're nasty with it when they reported that like wealthy white Louisiana residents win right to form their own city and split from poor black neighborhoods. But you read that and think if you're maybe a stupid person, you read that and think, well, that they got a city where they don't let black people in, that's not what's happening. Incidentally, that's what's going to happen, though. People separate even without the laws. You know what I mean? They tend to stick in their own areas.
You know why they're doing stuff.
But they make it sound like they're making a city where black people are not allowed in, and that's just not what's going on.
I can't remember the exact.
What would be so bad about that? But say again. What would you say?
I said the reason they're doing stuff like this. I can't remember the exact date or year it happened, and the name of the bar. But there's a bar now. It's a big LSU bar, and a few years ago, white girl went there and she got space drunk. I mean, she was drunk out of her mind. And I know it was a couple of black guys. I don't know if it was a white guy, some white guys. But 3 or 4 of them picked her up in the car going to carry her home. And they all got in the back and raped her.
Oh, wow.
And put her out in the middle of the freeway and took, in the middle of the morning, put her out in the middle of the freeway So okay, you can walk home. And she got hit by a car and killed her.
I think I remember this.
But that's why they're doing crap like this. They're tired of stuff like that happening. You know, they're pushing bills through the legislation now to they're trying to get their own school districts, their own police force, and they're just trying to keep the tax money in their city. They're talking about Jeff Landry's going to have to appoint. If everything is for Diggs, Jeff Landry's going to have to appoint a mayor and council and everything else for St. George.
Mm-hmm.
So in the next budget cycle, they collect their own mayor, their own city council, and their own everything.
Wow. And watch when their local government is majority white, that'll be a problem. See, they are racist.
You know it will be. But that's what they're always saying. It's NAACP saying, well, there's no African Americans pushing for this.
You said what?
No, because the NAACP president of Baton Rouge come out in the news saying that there were no African Americans pushing for this. Well, no, I'm positive, no shit. I mean, you know, they're trying to form a city that's right.
He may have cussed, but I can't even tell.
Yeah, man. I mean, but that's just the thing, man. It's not a white first white thing or anybody else. It's just, you know, you can see stuff crumbling around you, and you're paying $43 million in taxes. You'll see something come out of it.
Oh my, yeah.
They're failing everything. Well, man, that's all I have for me.
That's fascinating, man. Thank you for that. I've been wanting to get into that, so appreciate your call, sir. Call me again.
All right.
888-775-3773. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Incredible. They're doing the Scott Adams. The new city of St. George plans to split off from the rest of Baton Rouge. And it's racist, they say. Let's see here.
It will always be my goal. Beginning.
This is the mayor. Let's see. I just found this on YouTube. Seems to be about this scene, about this story. Let's see what she's saying here. Mrs. Who are we talking about here? Who are we talking about? Baton Rouge. Sharon Weston Broom. Take it away.
And it will always be my goal.
What will always be your goal? Wait, hold on.
Beginning, and it will always be my goal.
Okay, it starts there.
Is to advocate for a united Baton Rouge. I am committed to serving the residents of St. George, just as I serve those of Baker, Central, and Zachary. And in the days ahead, I will proceed to have conversations to determine the best course of action in compliance with the court's final decision.
Okay, so.
But.
Oh, one more comment from her?
But I believe.
Oh.
And thank you for joining us.
Well, that's nothing. Well, thank you. Let's just move on. That's what's going on. Appreciate that, Jeff. Appreciate your call. Okay. But I think we can move on from this. Let's see here. 888-775-3773 if you want to jump in there and call the anchor baby. Let me just check here stuff. What's going on here in the chat, everybody? Yeah. Incredible. Let's see what we got next. Okay. You seen that Trump anti-white thing? Calling it out. Anti-white bias. It's from Time. Trump says anti-white feeling is a problem in the U.S. And he got, you seen that thing with Whoopi. Maybe you saw it on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Saw that thing with Whoopi. Meltdown. The View's Whoopi Goldberg has a meltdown and says she's enraged by Donald Trump. And what did Trump do? What did Trump do to get her going? He said, you know what? I think there's some anti-white sentiment going on around here. And, you know, I think it's not so good.
This is my favorite. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you before I say it that it enraged me.
Okay, so she's
There
evil.
is a definite anti-white feeling in the country right now.
Oh, please.
Yeah, that's what he said. You know, sir.
No. Sir?
Yeah, sir.
Yes, sir.
Nobody in your family was hung. Nobody in your family was chased because of the color of their skin. How dare you? There's no anti-white issue here. You are perpetrating anti-humanist issues here. There's also, this is my...
And that's just amazing, you know. It's in a... I think we're done with this diagram. It really is hate on display, this upside-down society we live in, where somewhere along the way... I don't know, somewhere the flip got switched and we all didn't even notice it, and bad became good, good became bad. And it's open, and you say it with a smile, with crowds cheering on TV, you say horrible, evil things. Because it's like you break down what she's saying. You break it down. Obviously, you don't, obviously it's like a me versus you thing. You're talking about race, well, you're racist. Well, but breaking it down, you know, you get to what she's saying. You get it to what she has a problem with is this, what she really has a problem with is not, she doesn't disagree, or she didn't really make a point about whether this anti-white sentiment even exists, whether it's a valid thing or not. No, the thing that was important to her, what interested her, and what's really the motivation and thinking behind angry people, evil people, but the people who believe in racism and all this crap, it's this racial revenge thing. No, I don't care if it's valid. I don't care if it's happening. I care, and I'm being whoopee right now, I care that you're trying to say that would even matter in a reality where bad things happen to black people. Because that happened, what you're saying is insane, even if it were true. So their standard of morality is that. It's revenge, racial hatred, and not justice itself, not right things itself. Because if it was, then it would be that way for all people. It's justice for all people, no? Even if you don't like that person, you wouldn't want injustice to happen to them. But this is on display. The South African racial justice mentality in the DNA, in the culture, in the movies, and in the government. That's not a little thing. That's not a tiny little dumb thing. These are psychos. These are psychos. Speaking to, if your wife watches The View, you are not the head of your wife. Unless she's hate watching, I guess. But, you know, that's another story. 888-775-3773. You know, you got to wonder, let's say you're a type of person who doesn't quite believe in anti-white sentiments. That's a little too close to anti-Semitism. Anti-white sentiments, maybe you don't believe they exist. But those people you saw who believe it does exist, cheering on Trump, moving away and creating their own city, St. George, you know, contend with that reality. You see what I'm saying here? Okay, anyways. What else here? Trump, let me see what else. I think that's it with that. Let me get to a call here. I got Maze. How you doing, Maze, Ohio? A pleasure. An absolute pleasure.
How are you today?
All is well.
I've
do I put this? Now, I'm listening to some people want to move to a different place and want to move to just where it's only one color. And did you see those storms that just came through? Did they pick what color people do they want to just tear the whole town out?
Did you say the what that came through?
The storms in Texas and Oklahoma and all those different places.
I heard of them, yes.
Yeah, just tore the whole place up.
Correct.
Did you see that?
I did, a little bit.
Did it skip around some people or go through some people, or did it go to, what kind of people did it tear up?
I don't think the storm was very discriminating in its path.
So when you find people that's very, how do I put this so some of your ill and uniform won't get mixed up.
Okay.
Now, you explain to me what you think Whoopi said.
What do I think Whoopi said? Here's what I think
into your understanding.
Here's my understanding. You know, it seems quite clear to me that what the problem she has with the statement that Trump said about there existing a anti-white sentiment, her problem is not whether it exists or not, or the validity of that statement. No, her problem with that statement is that it doesn't coincide with the racial revenge that she wants, right? There can be no such thing as an anti-white sentiment if these same white people were the slave masters of yesterday. You understand?
What racial?
So that's so the validity of the statement and the morality of it is not what matters. It's they're evil for simply being white.
Really? So where did you get that feeling from?
No, I'm getting it from her words because look, what she said was.
Well, you got it wrong.
Okay, what did I get wrong?
So let me give you my opinion on what I thought she said.
Okay.
She was saying she didn't want to go back to the way it used to be, and where people were being hanged, and there was no laws, and all these different things. That's what she was trying to explain to the ill and uninformed, but they don't get it. It's not anything about no anti-white, because you don't own nothing anymore, and we never owned anything, because you was always standing in the way in order for other people to get something. So you don't own anything anymore, so you think people are attacking you. No. You can't hire anybody anymore because you done gave it to another country.
I understand.
Everything over here belongs to somebody else. And you scream about the border and everything else. It's just like I say, it was a day and a time come. So whoever doing this, it's not the black people. I know they're mad because you have black people that went to school to become lawyers, and Trump is caught in the middle of whatever he did that caused for himself. That's finally catching up with him. It just happened to be some black people opportunity to do what they need to do with their jobs that they have. Just like Giuliani put all those people in prison at the time that he did. And that's why y'all mad. And that's why they're mad. Every day is something black, something black. And to run with the Republicans, to come like every day on Fox, every day on Metro TV, it's everything about something black. But do you think, is that fair?
Let me answer.
You're not the Canadians, because see, looking at you, you are born, maybe I don't know if you were born here, but you're part Canadian and you're part American.
I'm the heart of an American.
The Canadians, huh?
The heart of an American.
Well, you say you became a Christian. Well, I don't know why. Because there's no. Yes, it's funny.
Thank you so much for calling me, Maze. Hey, listen, can I ask you a couple things?
No.
First, I want to answer your question. First, I want to answer your question.
Okay.
And your question was about. And I'm sorry. You had just asked a question.
About what Whoopi said.
Say that again.
What did she say was wrong? About what she said. What did she say was wrong?
Okay, well, go back to that, yes, because I think I'm understanding you now. So if I'm understanding you, you're saying that when you heard Whoopi Goldberg say what she said, you heard a call to the public that a wish to not return to a time when there was all these bad things happening to blacks, correct? And there was no laws to protect them. That's what you got. Right. So I think I'm following you here. So when she was saying all that, when she was responding to Trump's comments about anti-white, it wasn't so much the words she was saying to you, but what you believe she was alluding to and defending against. It's a return of this so-called racism.
That would not be.
But let's break it down, though. Let's break it down, Maze, because let's take in
I just broke it down to you.
No. Let's take in exactly what she said. What she was responding to exactly was Trump saying that there exists an anti-white sentiment. Okay, let me ask you this: do you think it's possible in the world of possibilities, the existence of an anti-white sentiment, whether it truly exists or not? Do you think it's possible?
Always been one. So what are you talking about?
Okay, interesting. Okay.
It's just the laws are changing
So-
to where they can't get away with like they
so
used to
if
and
you're-
put them on somebody else.
So
That's
you're
the
saying there's
problem.
always been an anti-white sentiment around in some
No, there
form
not
or
hasn't
some.
been an anti-white system. I'm saying they've
Oh.
always been in control, and it's not there anymore.
Gotcha. So
Because when-
let me ask you again. Do you think it exists the possibility for there to be an anti-white sentiment?
No.
Whether or not it exists or not today, do you think it's possible for it to exist? You say no. Why?
But I'm saying, do you think when before the laws came, do you think it was fair?
We can go back to that, but hold on. I was asking you a question.
That has what has to do with all of it.
Do you believe it's possible for people in America that are not white to harbor an anti-white sentiment in enough numbers for it to be like a group?
No.
You don't think why?
No, because everybody don't feel the way that some people feel. It's just like Mark.
Wait, hold on, wait.
Like,
Back
you
up.
don't have that same feeling.
Wait, slow down, Maze. I'm not asking you if today there currently exists an anti-white sentiment in America. I'm asking you if that's a possibility. Before we get to proving it, if it exists or not, do you think it's possible?
No.
Why
Because
not?
nobody want revenge.
Say it again?
The laws changed everything, and if the laws stand the way it should be, you don't have to be looking at no revenge. Revenge for what? Just because one group of people did it, don't mean another one has to come along to do it.
So if I may summarize what you're saying it's really not possible for people who are not white to have an anti-white sentiment because these people who are not white they would never want revenge or all, is what you're saying, because they didn't do...
No. I don't speak for all of them. I can't speak for everybody.
But that's what you're
Just
saying
like
in general, right? You're saying in general,
Yeah.
the non-white peoples of America, they didn't do all the evil things the white people did. So
they didn't.
So they wouldn't turn around and do that to the whites, is what you're saying? I'm
No.
trying to understand, because
No, they wouldn't.
if I'm following your
No, they
line of
wouldn't.
reasoning, it sounds like the non-white people have, according to you, quite a bit of reasons to have revenge, don't you think?
Well, just because you have a reason to do that means you got to have revenge on somebody. Just
But I
because
was
you
asking
do
you if
something
it's
right.
possible. I'm just asking you if it's
No, it's
possible
not
before we get
possible.
there.
You know
But
why
you don't
it's not
think it's
possible?
quite possible that
No, I
non-white
don't.
people would want revenge or something?
They don't want, because if they didn't want revenge, they wouldn't be marrying somebody that's not that same in their race.
Okay.
So you got too many people that's mixing the race. So if they had that same sentiment, they wouldn't be married. They have hate within
So
them.
your
They're
proof
not raping
against
them,
it,
they're marrying them.
your evidence for the non-white people not wanting revenge is that they're marrying non-white people.
That's right. They are marrying people out of their race.
But white people
in
are
other
marrying
words,
non-white people, right?
And the only people that are crying is the one that committed the crime against other people.
Are white people electing to marry non-white people? Are white
Yes,
people?
they are.
Okay, so then we're all hunky dory, right?
You
There is
should
no
be, but y'all
revenge.
walking around-
According to you,
No.
following your standard of morality, we are hunky dory. We're happy.
It is if you create
happy
it.
daisies, and no, there's no racism, right?
If you're creating it, of course, you got people out there like Trump.
Are there black
You got
people
out there
creating
like
it?
Mark
If you say
creating
there,
it. Yes,
okay,
right.
fine. Let's say there are people.
Let me-
Let's say there
can
are
I
white
give you a
people. Wait,
reason?
hold
Can I
on.
give you
Wait,
another-
no, hold on. We're following your line of reasoning. Fine. Let's say,
Mm-hmm.
let's assume for a second, and I don't believe it, that white people are creating these racism, like you said. Are black people as well in the same way? Following your line of
Mm-hmm. Some of
reasoning.
them, yes. Some of them.
Oh, so then we go back to the.
But they don't have.
Then we got to go back to the conclusion you made. You said that it's not possible for blacks
It is not
and
possible.
non-whites to
You
want
still
revenge.
They still have the Klan around, right?
Huh?
They still have the Ku Klux Klan around, right? The Klan.
Maybe. I
The
don't
man
know.
that-
I
the
don't
black
see them
man that
around.
infiltrated
I
the-
literally have never. I've only ever
you don't
seen
know
the.
what it is, but
I've only ever
let
seen
me
the.
explain it to you.
I've only ever seen the Klan in pictures.
Oh, well, I've taken pictures.
Old
of them, so I
pictures
ain't-
that
I
don't
can say
exist
I've seen them
anymore.
in real life.
I'm not saying
But
they don't
anyway,
exist.
'cause-
I'm just saying I've only seen the
That's not what
Klan
I'm saying.
in old movies and pictures and video. I've seen
not
I've
talking
seen
about
Black
movies, I'm
Lives
talking
Matter
about reality.
in my
Here you go,
lifetime.
Black Lives Matter.
There you go.
Lives-
I've seen the not
Black Lives Matter.
the not effing around coalition in my lifetime.
What did Black Lives Matter do to this country? Nothing. It just formed
You don't get to just ask a question. You don't get to ask a question that's the answer of the obvious
I'm
answer
getting ready
is
to give you an
wait,
answer.
Maze. You don't get to ask a question that which the obvious answer is they set America on fire and then just say nothing after that.
Where?
You don't get to just say what did Black Lives Matter do? Nothing. It's like
No, they
give me a
when did they set
chance.
America on
Give me a
fire?
chance
That's
to
what-
get in there. And then
That's
maybe
what I'm
I
saying.
could
You're uninformed. But can I finish to say
Sure.
about the Klan?
Please.
The black man that infiltrated the Klan, he was a very smart person.
Who was a smart person?
The black man that infiltrated the Klan and got some of them to give up the hatred.
I remember did
you
Jesse
remember how smart he
Jesse
was.
talk to him?
Yes, he's been on just.
That was cool. That was a cool talk with him. I forget.
You had the sense.
I forget his name.
If a lot of them had the sense that man got, they would get rid of their anger and their fears. Because nobody want to cause the same problems that they cause the people.
He was an interesting guy, sincerely.
We looking at it now in another country, which is not fair and not right.
Daryl Davis is who Mays is talking about.
So they're mad because they can't control the purse anymore, and then they want to turn around and look at us.
Yeah, Daryl Davis
we want to come back and get them. The least thing we are thinking about is to come back and
Mays, can we end on this? Basically, my line of questioning to you was essentially was because it was clear to me, and you said as much, that when you heard Whoopi Goldberg talk, it too was about a racial gripe with you, and not about the words and things that the people were actually talking about.
No, it was not, because Whoopi can't really say what she want to say sitting in that chair that she's sitting in. Because the ones that's around her at that table, all of them don't agree with her when she tell the truth.
Hold on.
Some people do anything for a job.
That's for sure.
So sometimes you have to look at what you read. To give your whole self, sell yourself, or be who you really are. And people like Big Bump, they ain't giving y'all nothing but stupidity.
You think Big Bump is not being himself?
No, that's on the Big Bump Babe.
You don't think Big Bump is being himself?
No.
Do you think he has his own mind? Do you think he's an individual with his own mind?
He's lost too.
Who has his mind then?
I don't know who he's living his brain over to.
Who do you think?
But you still stop giving other people your brain to use it. Just like what you came up with Whoopi, you heard Jesse say it. And Jesse lied. How did he know she never saw nobody that got harmed? You don't know who family that was harmed back in those days. And
well,
you still got people that's 90 and 100 that still remember what happened to them, but they still don't want revenge.
Well, if he's making assumptions,
but their grandchildren want revenge on something that I don't know what's wrong with them. They don't even understand either.
Well, if he's making assumptions, Mays, then even the great JLP is wrong for that. But you have to take it up with him. And that's and you would never do such a thing, right? Assumptions. Right?
No, I'm not trying to lead people.
You would never do such a thing, right, Mays? Assumptions.
Do such a thing
you would never
what?
do like you would never stoop down to Jesse's level and make assumptions.
No.
Right
what
on,
I'm
Mays.
saying is, ask David Duke. David Duke been on y'all show.
Where David Duke at, there, man?
No, I want
time to get the clan
popping.
popping. Sorry, what'd you say?
I want David Duke to come back on y'all show again and explain why he don't like what's going over in Israel.
Oh.
Nobody.
I don't know his commentary on that.
Quiet. Well, that's what y'all need to have him on and let him explain.
Why do you say that? Are you dog whistling?
Maybe you'll learn something.
Well, thanks, Mays. Appreciate the suggestion.
Oh, and have a good one.
Call me again, Mays. It's been an absolute pleasure. Nice. Got the click. We love Mays. Hey, that was fun. Thank you for calling me, Mays. I never hear from you, but I'm always thinking about you. Where David Duke and them at? It's time to get the clan popping. Okay. Let's see. What else shall we do here? 888-775-3773. We got a super chat from Lin Yan Chen. Thank you, sir. Oh, man. Was this for Mays? Hold up. Mays, this is from Lin Yan Chen. It says, Mays, these beings marrying outside of their species are not showing love, but a desire to destroy them at the level of DNA. We mixed our abomination. Lin Yan Chen, from one chimera to another. I appreciate your, what some might say is tough words, but words that make us think. The diluting of the races, hey, it makes everybody weaker. The diluting of your blood, of your kind. I don't know how to put it without using words that are shallow. But there's a strength in what God made you, I guess. So there is a weakening, a diluting, if you will. Almost, shall we say, destruction at the level of DNA. Lin Yan Chen, appreciate your super chats. I'm sorry, Lin Yan Chen, I didn't mean it like that. Look, I wish I could have read that during Mays there. I'll try and pay attention, more attention there. Okay, what can we do now? Because we want to get into something here. Let me pull it up. We're getting into something here. 888-775-3773. Okay, fine. We'll get into this. Have you been seeing this mess? I guess we won't spend too much time. We'll see what we even have to say about it. But there's a little trend going on. They got the ladies talking. And I don't know how it started. But now it's on the Daily Beast, Yahoo, Daily Mail, a conundrum that is sparking viral meltdowns. It's even causing breakups. And it's a question being posed to the women of the world. Would you rather be left in the woods with a man you don't know or a bear? Is the question being asked, and it's got ladies online all up in it like, you think I'd rather be with a man in the woods? Well, you thought wrong, men of the world. We ladies are afraid of you, misogynists. We're afraid of you. We'd rather be with a bear. That's what they're saying. Of course you'd rather be in the woods with a human being rather than a large beastly animal, says Yahoo. But when you stop to think for a second, actually, would you rather be alone with a strange man, far from anyone who could offer help, where no one could hear you scream? The responses from women on the social media app are overwhelming. They take the bear. One video that came across my feed was a woman asking her male partner, what would you prefer if the woman in question was your daughter? With which would you rather she spend time in a secluded area alone with? He gets quiet. The realization dawns on him. This isn't such an easy question to answer. And it's sort of horrifying, isn't it? The man versus bear conundrum. So this woman asks her husband, what if it was your daughter? Or some woman asks her boyfriend, what if it was your daughter? He starts thinking, the so-called man, she has a point. So if you just make it emotional, that's how it works. Think about what you agree with. But anyways, so that's the question. Ladies, would you rather be, what's more dangerous, a strange man in the woods or a bear? This article goes on. They're saying some men are incredibly offended by this, as if it's a personal attack. But anyways, how do I put this? The silliness of this whole thing. Because the women who are talking about this, it's not really a thought experiment they're taking on seriously in a rational way. Ladies, be the bear. Men don't want to meet in the woods. What the heck is this? Memes. But what I'm getting at is the people engaging with this, they're not really engaging with it in a, what's the word? A untainted way. Okay? Let's take this as a layman. I'm not a woods guy. What do I know about bears? Let's take this just in general. Sure, you could meet a bear. You could, let's say you're a person who knows nothing about bears, right? You don't know how to make them go away. You don't know that there are methods man has to subdue the earth. And that being said, man has concluded, despite having their methods to subdue the earth and make bears stand down, look bigger, yell at them, to be a man over beast. Despite that being a reality, man has concluded that bears are very dangerous. Very dangerous. Okay? Okay. But that doesn't mean every bear is going to get you. But that also doesn't mean every man in the woods is going to get you. It really is when you break it down, people engaging with this has nothing to do with the question itself. Would you actually rather a man or a bear? Like, statistically speaking, what's more dangerous? What's more likely to get you? None of those are the questions they want to answer. No, this is in fact terrorism. This is actually female terrorism. These are the poor little ladies in the woods who they're faced with a hard choice here. It's a bear or a man, both bad because we live in a society. But when you break this down, they don't care about those questions. This whole question about the ladies and the bear and the man is female terrorism. It's to tell men, look at how serious we are. Look at how seriously we see you as a threat. So men, we really, truly, you're so bad, you're worse than a bear. So, what are you going to do about it? The women say while holding a gun. You understand? This is female terrorism because they're not really afraid. They're not going in the woods. They're not really afraid of men on the streets to the level of a bear. Sure, they may be wary. Sure, they may be walking down the street. Hey, that's just being smart. Sure, you may be walking down the street, maybe even late at night, and you see a man, you'll be wary. Nervous, maybe. But as afraid, you might even go the other way, but as afraid as a bear. You understand what I'm saying here? It has nothing to do with the question itself. This is female terrorism. This is female terrorism. Because there are no truly unsafe women. Like, that's just, that's more of a modern thing with, now they hate cops all of a sudden. Not even all of a sudden. It's been years now. Black Lives Matter and all that. But that's something that was new in my lifetime. Now they hate cops. And so now we're seeing this upticks of crime and all that. In some areas more significant than others. That being said, you are in the female future. You're where you can go out. You can go out amongst the bears like a piece of meat. And the world has to say, you can't look at her like that. No, you cannot expect her. She cannot be expected to defend herself and cover herself up because there may be evil out there. You are the one expected to watch yourself. So she gets to walk around the bears. That's the thing. The modern woman gets to walk around the bears, taunt them, yell at them, terrorize them, and they're protected. You understand what I'm saying here? This whole thing has nothing to do with the bear. This is female terrorism. Showing us that they are not in any danger. Not in the way they're saying. You know what I mean? Yeah, yes, women are being attacked. Yes, most of the violent crime is committed by men, sure. By the way, it's done on other men. But yeah, fine. Women, if they're going to get violent crime committed on them, it's most likely a man that's going to do it. Fine. But what was I saying? Like, it's happening, right? Sure, it's happening. It happens. But the question is obviously proportion and causes, right? They say the causes are a rape culture and all that. But we look at some things. We try to understand some statistics, like, for example, higher incidence of rape and all that in immigrants and immigrant crime and all that. Like, it doesn't explain your conclusions of society, ladies. So maybe before you undo what's keeping you nominally safe now, before you undo the forces that are keeping you nominally safe today, think about what you're saying before you go around terrorizing. You know what I mean? Because if you're so tough, then go out and be with the bears. You feel me? But anyways, 888-775-3773. If you want to talk to the anchor baby here. What else do we got? Come on, Nick. Lots of women think they can Snow White their way with the bear. You know, Sean, do you know, are you a subduer of bears? What do you know about subduing bears? Like, let's say you were someone who knew about, like, nature and bears. And you were trying to be honest with the question. I wonder if some might actually pick the bear over the man. Because there is a truth to man being the most dangerous animal on earth, right? Like, they're treacherous. Man is dangerous. But let's say I was talking to a person who was more in tune with nature, understood bears. I wonder what they would actually say. And they didn't have a gripe and they didn't want to get at men or anything. You know, because I've seen these videos where you just look tall. You look tall. There's something about animal psychology and the stillness of a man, of an individual. In confronted with nature, I wonder what a man like that would say. And let's say you had a gun, too. That's a whole different story. Where's my 2A? We need let me call up David real quick. That is funny. But yeah, where my 2A at? All these ladies talk about equality, huh? And they don't even know if they don't know anything about the Second Amendment. Talk about equality. We want equality. We want equality. Do you know what a gun is? Little miss. Hey, miss. Little miss, you want to be big and bad and tough? Do you know what a gun is? Have you ever heard the words equalizing force? I'll let you smoke on that. But right now we got well, if I know you have to cook bear enough or you'll get trichinosis. Scary sounding stuff. So cook that bear. You don't want to get trichinosis, which is a type of roundworm infection. You know, I hear that there's more people with worms than they think. I hear there are tests to determine if you have them. I don't know how many people are ready for that conversation, but we're going to leave that for another day. We got Mike out of Florida. Appreciate your call. You're on the air.
All right, let me get off boot.
Thank you, sir.
All right, can you hear me?
All clear. Thank you.
All right, nice. Yeah, I just want to make a comment about that Trump, white sentiment deal and all the craziness Whoopi Goldberg was saying.
Nice.
I think that it's important to clarify that it's not white hate, that they're really pushing. That's just a mask. What they're really pushing is conservative hate. And they're calling it white hate because as long as you're a white liberal, it's all good. You're loved. You're embraced. But the moment you have conservative values, then you're a problem. And so I think it's very important to make that clear. It's not the color that they hate. It's the values that represent the white conservative or even the black conservative or the Latino conservative, whatever you may be. But if you're conservative, you're going to fall in that bucket.
Interesting. I appreciate what you're saying, Mike, because what you bring up an interesting relationship here that can't be ignored. Personally, if you ask me, I think there is anti-white hate and sentiment going around, but I'm only saying that to communicate with all of you. When we break it down, there really is no such thing as racism. You get it? But what I'm trying to say here is that what you're saying, it should contend with people who are kind of shallow thinking and think that it's just it's just black versus white. They have to contend with something like this because think about what you're saying here. It is essentially true. Look at the demographics. I think that's why there is a sort of anti-white sentiment because you look at who's mostly wanting to keep the family together, be independent individuals and all that. It's white people who, by the way, like you're saying, vote conservatively. I'm saying all these different things to piece together this relationship that, for me, proves that what's going on is a spiritual battle. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
And so I appreciate you bringing it up. I wouldn't be one to be so quick to say there's no anti-white sentiment. But anybody who's listening to Mike right now thinking, what is this guy? This guy's an idiot. It's just conservative versus Democrat. I think you would be shallow and you'd be missing that relationship. Doesn't that speak to something beyond it? Look, so anyways, appreciate your call. Yeah. But do you think it's just that? You think that's the dichotomy, end all be all? It's just people going against conservatives?
Absolutely. 100%. I think that the term white, that's why they're going after white males. It does make sense because currently the vast majority of the population is white. So they're just saying white because the vast majority of the population is white. So you're going to have more white conservatives than anyone else. But they really hate conservatism. That's what they want to destroy. I'm black.
But conservatism, But conservatism is already destroyed.
I understand that, but I get the same hatred from liberals, and they call me white. You get my point? So it's not because of my skin color. It's because of my values. And I promote the family, and I promote all those things. And I'm just saying that it's important to, talk about the fire and not the smoke. The smoke is what the smoke screen they're using is white, white. So what it does, it puts people that are white into a trap. And you hate me because I'm white? No, they don't hate you because you're white. They hate you because of your values. If you're a liberal, they will embrace you.
And even then, that's not love.
Right. It's all hate.
Absolutely, man.
But most of the liberals are white.
Absolutely. I was just pushing back because I'd call that dichotomy shallow as well. Just a political thing where it's just conservative. But I'm following what you're saying. Well, you're not even saying that personally. What I'm getting from what you're saying, you're saying is that that I'm following what you're saying. People are going after these values, what people are thinking. And I personally think that's why they're going after whites. It's they exemplify that the most.
They want to destroy the values of the family and the order of God that we have from God. And that's the essence of conservative values. There's a lot of people that call themselves conservative, but they're not necessarily conservative. I'm not speaking from a political standpoint. I'm speaking from a true value standpoint.
Right.
And what their agenda is, if they can get rid of God and destroy the family, then they can get full control. And that's really all what it's all about. That's the fire, not the smoke.
Yeah, and that's why conservatism is broken and dead, because it's not. Because people are so shallow and they think that the dichotomy is just these things you call yourself. It's just conservative versus Democrat, but it's really these values, what you really hold, what you're really about. So that's why conservatism is dead, and you got all these people thinking the fight is left versus right, and that whole ship is sinking too. They don't see the water that they're in.
Good point.
Mike, thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
Anchoring the topic a little bit. Appreciate it, Mike. Anything else you want to say?
All right. No, God bless you, brother. Keep doing what you're doing.
Call me again. 888-775-3773. Terry Strange with a super chat says, bears have cute ears and tails. What do men have? I'm trying to pit it up against the thousands of pounds of force. I was thinking, okay, no, they have hair, they have ears, tail. I'm trying to think of one thing here, Terry. One thing here. I can't, Terry. Maybe the ladies have to go to God themselves too. Maybe the ladies got to do their own work as well. But don't judge them. Because they don't have cute ears and tails. They are the very men whom you, out of either a curse or love, must work with to maintain society. On this little ramble, marriage and all that, you know what I read the other day that I don't think I ever read before? Matthew 19, 1-12, what Jesus taught about marriage. I feel like I've heard this. I've heard it talked about. I read this the other day. I was like, it made clear a little bit of a question I've had for a while now. I've been wondering, what the heck? How do I parse together this whole journey I'm going on against the ego and trying to get rid of the ego and all that, and not trying, but discovering what it is and being removed, having it removed and all that, and yet at the same time contending with this notion of marriage and love and what it is, and all these people asking me, Nick, should I get married? What the heck? And trying to kind of parse that. So I read Matthew 19, 1-12, when Jesus taught about marriage and divorce. This is New Life version, so I don't know if this is some liberal translation. I don't think it matters in this case. I could be wrong. But he says, when Jesus had finished talking, he went from the country of Galilee. He came to the part of the country of Judea, which is on the other side of the Jordan River. Many people followed him, and he healed them there. The proud religious law keepers came to Jesus. They tried to trap him by saying, Does the law say a man can divorce his wife for any reason? He said to them, have you not read that he who made them in the first place made them man and woman? It says, for this reason, a man will leave his father and his mother and will live with his wife. The two will become one. So they are no longer two, but one. Let no man divide what God has put together. Proud religious law keepers said to Jesus, then why did the law of Moses allow a man to divorce his wife if he put it down in writing and gave it to her? See, I never read all that. So that's how it was? You could just, as long as I put it in writing, it's a contract, that's a divorce. Sounds a lot like divorce today. So it's just a thing you could just say and do. No-fault divorce? I don't know. Did they have no-fault divorce? Is that what I'm reading here? The law of Moses was no-fault divorce? Please correct me if I'm wrong here. Personally, I don't think that's the important part or what I'm trying to get to here. Jesus said to them, because of your hard hearts, Moses allowed you to divorce your wives. It was not like that from the beginning. And I say to you, whoever divorces his wife, except for sex sins, and marries another, is guilty of sex sins in marriage. Whoever marries her that is divorced is guilty of sex sins in marriage. Okay, take that how you will. I'm not here to be your teacher and interpret this for you, but I feel like all that I never read. And then this final part here is big time. I definitely never read this part. His followers said to him, if that is the way of a man with his wife, then it's better not to be married. But Jesus said to them, not all men are able to do this, but only those to whom it has been given. For there are some men who from birth will never be able to have children. There are some men who have been made so by men, and then there are some men who have had themselves made that way because of the holy nation of heaven. The one who is able to do this, let him do it. I'm not trying to interpret it here for you and get all deep, but I've had this question like God, what the heck do you mean? Like, I'm supposed to get over the ego, and but yet all relationships, like all marriage, is the fallen state, because like I've never seen it otherwise. Even people who say they are Christian, I'm overcoming, I forgave my mother. The emotions are there. The whole gambit, it's a dirty game. It's rigged from the start. But maybe that was just my immaturity, my lack of understanding. So I'm like, God, what the heck do you mean? And it seems like it's almost perfect when you put it like, when Jesus puts it like this. For some men, they'll never have kids. They were never meant to. They're from birth, they will never be able to have children. For maybe health reasons even. For other reasons, who knows? There are some men who have been made so by men. That's the world. They've been made because societal reasons, societal pressure. The world, they've been made so by men. And that's going to happen all the time. That is 90% of the world. That is going to happen. So people listen to my show and they wonder, but Nick, don't you want the birth rates to go up? Are you saying you want the family to... No. When you think of it this way, that is the marriage that is made so by men. And if you think of it so simply, raising the birth rates is easy. It's simple. Just make it easy for them, government. When you plant the garden, if you put rocks and dirt and not the right type of soil, it's going to be difficult to grow. And I personally, in my layman's view of the world, that's all what's going on right now. The powers that be, for reasons that we're going to get into, by the way, euro, dollar, and beyond, are happy. They see it totally acceptable to make the garden a little difficult to grow. If you just made it easy to grow, it'll grow. But then it comes down to this. There are some men who have had themselves made that way because of the holy nation of heaven. Now, I'm not trying to understand. I'm not saying I exactly know what this means, but it sounds like that marriage, that which God put together, which no man can divide. And I'm not reading this. When you hear me read this, that's not me telling you, go and strive for that. Go and find that. No. But for me, it kind of lays to rest that question and that nagging question. And by the way, where was that question coming from in my head? It kind of lays to rest this question I've been having, like, what's everyone's place then? It seems like when Jesus puts it that way, there's a place for everyone. And so it may be. So no need to trip on that. If your marriage is from the nation of heaven, then let no man break it apart. If you're in this marriage that is made by men, then you've been made so by men, then you have to do what everybody has to do, whether married or not. Overcome, forgive. And if you were never meant to have children, guess what? You're You're not missing out. It's not like all these married people, they're one step closer to God in the full life. Those people have to do the exact same thing you have to do. So yeah, thanks, Jesus. Interesting thing there I read the other day. Yeah. But that's it, I think. Last few minutes of the show here. Appreciate everybody. We got more for you tomorrow. Thursday's going to be nice. Open line. I mean, Bible Thumper Thursday. Amazing network shows with Joel and Hake. 9 a.m. with Hake. 11 a.m. with Joel. We're going to get into more of this finance stuff. What is the global financial market? What the heck is money? The euro dollar itself. Not a euro. Amazing little mystery that I think you might find fascinating. But I think that's it for today. Let me see. What are the super chats? Anything else? buymeacoffee.com/anchor, baby. If you so wish. Appreciate it, Rumble. Appreciate that, D Live. How you doing, GG Cash? But what can I say here, folks? What else can I say? I think there's, since we talked about the ladies, I had this at the ending of my notes here. No, okay. We're not gonna do it justice. But can I say, well, I'll leave you with this on the ladies. Tattoos. What is up with the modern women love these pointless tattoos. And like I've been saying, my little theory that everyone is a little black. And why? Why is everyone a little black? They have a huge impact on the culture. So what's with all this? Oh, we're so supremacy. Everyone's so above us. Look at how many people are listening to you, black people. They want to talk like you do. Don't misuse that. But anyways, that's a story for another time. Everyone's a little black. And I'm noticing the ladies, the women are adopting this hoochie ghetto hooer get up thing. Look, you got to understand where I'm coming from. Like, this is what I'm seeing, what I'm reacting to. I'm sure they're nice ladies even. But like a lot of these hood ghetto women, those women, by the way, they're getting their tips from the prostitutes. And you got to understand what I'm saying here. Because I'll drive down Western here in L.A. LAPD, where the heck are you? And it'll be like 8 o'clock. It'll be like barely 9 o'clock. And the track is already open. Meaning there's prostitutes on the side of the road. And I'm driving home. I'm just telling you what's up. And I'm seeing them out there. They got this bodysuit. They got this, I swear, they all shop at the same place. And they have these slides. They wear these slides and their toes are out and they got the fuzz on them. And I'm seeing young girls dressed like, and they don't realize that they're wearing, it's not just, oh, you're dressed slutty. No, you are wearing the literal uniform of street prostitutes on Western. You understand what's going on? And they love these pointless tattoos. Look at this. This is Sexy Red. She's this rapper. This is Sexy Red with her tattoos covered up. We finna have this conversation about pointless tattoos, ladies. Because this woman, this is a whole new woman. Oh, let's not play that. We don't need to play that. This is that same woman with the Buddha Meat song. And I got things to say about Buddha Meat maybe this Friday. No. Remember, when confronted with Buddha Meat, you say, like Charleston White says, no. No Buddha meat. No Buddha meat. But look at this. This is a whole new woman. Yeah. We finna have the conversation about pointless tattoos. Please. The body, the temple. Anyways, folks, that's the show. That's pretty much it from me. Catch you tomorrow. More American Anchor, baby. We'll do the super chats. We'll do everything anything I missed here. But as always, a pleasure. And take care. See y'all tomorrow. Oh, and Lil Nick too. Bye.